why this ain't working. Mm. Why ain't nothing working? We'll do a call. Watch your ears. Well, first I'm gonna go get my FLIR. I think I got my computer working now. If the stream ends for whatever reason, like it just did, I'll jump back on it. That was close to it. That was real close. Watch your ears. Walk out there. I think they're hunting. Whenever I was coming home, there's a bunch of deer on the side of the road, so the deer are out feeding right now. And what that sounded like, at the beginning was a loud howl, and before I could get the camera on, there's a couple other vocalizations mixed in with it, coming from two different areas. So I'm assuming they're hunting right now, but it's close. It might be in the field right next to the house, right outside my holler, outside of my holler and Stinky holler. We'll do one more. Won't be long, these leaves will be off the trees. Be able to see again. That was Bailey. Yeah, it's supposed to, tomorrow was supposed to not get up to 80. Today was really nice. Oh man, it was so nice. And yesterday was even better. Yesterday was like a 70, 71 for a high. It was real nice. Then it got warmer today. Tomorrow's supposed to get warmer. By this weekend, it's supposed to be back up in the 90s. Something just moved up there. I'll go sit on the porch there if they're watching, I bet. But I haven't had much sign of them being around here for the last few weeks, really. I found a couple of little things, but nothing major. And at night I can hear them, but they're pretty far off, and I don't even know if this camera will pick it up. I can hear them, but it's like on the edge of my hearing. But I think they're coming in closer now. Actually, was it last night or maybe the night before last? I think it's the night before last. Something smacked the side of the shed. There goes a thump. Still can't see nothing up in the woods. Whoa. Man, I hope they do it again. I wish I could play it back right now. Well, they did capture. You only got a couple seconds of it, but man, that was a good vocalization. Scott. Be safe out there, Scott. Rick, Peggy, Pappy, Pam, Greg, Martha, Lane, Don. Got a frog in my throat. Richard, Scott, Claudia, Jenny, and everybody else. Let's scroll up. I need to fix this chat to where it either stayed on the screen or something. I don't know. It sucks. Using the phone, it sucks. Yeah, we've caught a few things. Caught a lot of stuff live here before, but I mean, it's just you never know whenever it's going to happen. These boogers keep a terrible schedule. What are you crying about now, Matt? You need a sugar tit? Does anybody know what a sugar tit is? No cheating and looking it up either. And paying be quiet. A sugar tit. Anybody in here from the Appalachian Mountains? Do you ready, cool? What is it? I don't think you can either, Martha. You're in the group. It's because you cheat, Pam. Pam's a cheater, everybody. I'm going to tell on you. Yay, Radical knows what it is. Awesome. Told y'all I wasn't making stuff up. Yeah, I learned a lot of them in chat. Poor Pam. I told the people in our messenger group not to cheat and look it up, and Pam looked it up, and I could tell she looked it up because when I was talking to Cece about it earlier, uh, I tried to Google it to find her to show her that I wasn't just making up stuff, and it had distilleries and all kinds of stuff that I didn't know about. But I finally found a pretty decent something other. Well, Radical done told us. Back in the day, for a whiny, cry baby, they would take a cloth rag, like a cotton rag or whatever, and dip it down in sugar water and give it to the baby to shut them up. The sugar tit. Ready cool wins. Good job, Rudy. I'm proud of you. Of course, down in Alabama, they probably have a lot of sugar tits with that kind of football team. Yeah, any whiny whatever. All right, Matt. Adios. Quit hiding in the closet. Man, these bookers better do something. I'm gonna be really disappointed. That was a great vocalization. I wish I would have caught that one. It was really close too. No more than 100 yards out. Both of them sound like one on each side of the holler. I think the Scotch was probably for a toothache or something. Good deal, Scott. I hope you're not like one of our drivers at work. Good night. Them lads. How old are you, Scott, first of all? Peggy, didn't you just say you was from Appalachia and you're hollering about the Sooners? Come on. You are no better than that. Was that somebody else said they was from Appalachia? That was some kind of thump. I don't know where the cats are at right now. Be careful, Cece. Boogers don't like the smell of cigarettes. How would you know that? 56. All right, good deal. So you're probably one of the good truckers. We got a bunch of young lads. No lie. We run almost 30 trucks out of where I'm at. And the past couple of years, we changed 25 transmissions. And they just, it's so bad, some of them don't know if they're left from their right. It's horrible. I hear you. But I'm just wondering if y'all see that out on the road, these younger drivers, man. And I understand everybody's got to learn, but these lads, these lads need some sugar tits, just to keep it real. I don't know if they went to trucking school or what. It's basically it's a general lack of ethic nowadays. I suppose everybody's having that problem nowadays. It's the entitled generation getting in there working. Miracle whip and turkey. That sounds good. Hello, Barb. Good night, Bill. My tractor fan came in today. The UPS buried it. I should have taken a picture of that too. They buried my box in the leaves down there by the old mailbox. Pretty sure my UPS guy's a booger. They've hung stuff in trees. This makes twice they buried it in the leaves. Pretty sure he's a booger. And I've never seen him. So, well, for where I work at, I had to get a CDLs, and to get a CDLs, you have to take a road test. I have never drove a truck before in my life, and I can, like, on the parking lot and stuff, pull them back to the garage and stuff like that. I drove them, and I drove one up the road one time, another guy. But I had to get them CDLs. Well, they sent me over there, and I passed the whole parking lot thing. I could back a truck up from here to Kansas, no problem, truck and trailer. But this happened on a Friday afternoon. I took my test on a Friday afternoon, and I got the parking part done by 4:30. So 5 o'clock rolls around, and this is in Dunbar, West Virginia, right next to Charleston, between Charleston and Huntington. And It was Friday afternoon at rush hour, the 5 o'clock rush hour. I had to drive this thing down the interstate. First time ever I had that truck on the interstate. I passed it. I mean, it was, you know, it was. That was probably the hard. Well, no, I can't say the hardest because I've had to deliver to Breaks interstate park before, and that's just a creepy mountain to even drive a regular car on. But man, that truck, that was pretty scary. But other than that, that was probably the most nerve wracking drive I've ever had in a truck, which I don't drive them very often, but I work on them. But sometimes you have to drive them. But I mean, they're not too bad to drive. The problem with driving a big truck is the cars around you and people. If you see a big truck behind you or around you, don't dawdle beside of them. Do not pull over in front of them. These big trucks cannot stop on a dime. And there's been a lot of people hurt and killed doing stuff like that. You got to respect the big trucks. I mean, we got professionals out there, but you also got some folks that's not so professional. And just be careful around these trucks. You don't believe me? You can get on YouTube and watch some of these things. It's just crazy. But I've seen people do it in real life. And like I said, they can't stop on a dime. They do have blind spots, so use respect around them. I grew up on these back roads driving around coal trucks. Now that's an experience right there. Coal buckets in a mountain. Good night. Better pass them while you can. No, it takes. I mean, it takes a lot to get one of them trucks stopped. It's not like a car at all. Oh yeah, of course everybody has the right to the road. I'm just saying, be careful around the big trucks. It's not like what the truckers call the four wheelers or little cars. It's a totally different machine to operate, to drive, and to stop. Anytime you're driving, you ought to be on the defense. I mean, good night. Like people around here don't understand what a signal light's for. They don't comprehend what that little lever does on the side of the steering wheel to let others know that they're making a turn or something. They don't understand that at all. They'll pull right out in front of you. I mean, and then you look and they're always on a phone. That's why, being on a phone is illegal. What's going on, Jay? Well, I'm thinking about it. The lake camping deal is a no go. We cannot camp at the lake, so we'll have to figure out an alternative. And I guess the new options are here. Of course, there's always here, which again will have electricity, just not running water or anything like that. There's always the campground at the lake, but that's just might as well camp here. That's just inconvenient. Or I'm thinking about going back to Carter Caves. Or here's my pick. I want to go to the Red River Gorge. Man, y'all look up the Red River Gorge. It's absolutely beautiful, and there's also quite a few reports of boogers at the Red River Gorge. And it ain't but an hour from here. I can get there in an hour. And I was thinking, like Pam, I know Pam's coming, and I know it's gonna be closer for Jay and Pam. And I actually know somebody that lives out close to it. It's in the Daniel Boone National Forest. But you can ride your ATVs there. There's just all kinds of stuff to do. Heck, they even got an underground kayaking. Might throw a few jug lines in a cave. Man, I'd love to go. I'm gonna go see it regardless. I'm waiting. As soon as these leaves turn, I'm taking a couple days and going to the gorge. But I want to see it whenever the leaves turn. I want to see it at its best. I thought about going back down to the Smokies when the leaves turn, but I've been checking like YouTube videos out on the gorge and checking out a few websites with the gorge. Man, that place is absolutely beautiful, and it ain't been an hour away from me, and I've never been there. So, Josh fella, who's the Josh fella? Yeah, it's in Kentucky. I don't know. You have to remind me, Jay. But this place is just absolutely. Check this out. I mean, it is stunning. There's all kinds of natural bridges, and you can camp. You just can't camp within 100 yards. You can camp anywhere in this state park. Just you can't camp within. You can't camp at the rock formations or within 100 yards of them, but you can camp at the base somewhere. I mean, it's beautiful. Waterfalls everywhere. I'd say whenever the leaves turn, it's really sexy. But I mean, like I said, there's quite a few reports here. I'll look them up real quick. There's quite a few reports there too, and I'd say it's probably within an hour drive of Lexington, Kentucky. Listen, did y'all hear that? Watch your ears. I'm gonna try to mimic it. Whoa! Whoa! That didn't sound nothing like it, but kinda. Here, here. They've moved away. Watch your ears one more time. Now they got the coyote stirred up. Did y'all hear that first? Oh, this coyote stirred up now. Watch your ears. Oh, there it went again. Up Stinky Holler. Message me later, Jay. I can't keep up right now. Yeah, there's coyotes that joined in, but something set them off. It was further away. I ain't heard coyotes in a while either. It makes me wonder if they hunt together, you know what I'm saying? Because sometimes you can hear that loud yell like I first heard here. Then you'll hear the coyotes join in. Then you'll hear what sounds like a coyote getting caught. But now maybe they're hunting together. Come to think of it, it's usually wintertime whenever I hear the coyotes getting caught. Like I said, the deer are out feeding right now too. Ow! What the heck? I just stepped on a porcupine egg or something. The cat guy. I think he stole my cats. Uh oh. Something just got thrown. Tree in the mountains. Ooh, right in there. I think is their spot. Hard to tell anything. Check it by the barn. What are y'all talking about? I, for one, don't believe that Bigfoot migrate. Not like they do on the Serengeti. My opinion is they're here year round. Not here, but around here. They've got their own territory, kind of like a black bear or a mountain lion or something like that. The reason I say that is I have activity year round here. So unless somebody shows me some data where they've tracked or collared one to see its migration route, I'm sticking with they stay in a certain area. That's not to say that you might get a male that's been kicked out of the clan because Big Daddy don't want him around no more, want him around these girls or whatever. I'm sure that could happen. And he goes out maybe to get his own territory or do something like that. I mean, but I'm pretty confident that clans stay in a localization, sort of like a pack of coyotes. They're not always here either. They could be a couple miles away or something like that. But I've documented activity here year round, so I seriously doubt that they migrate. That's my opinion anyway. Well, in the beginning here, whenever all this first started going on, I still walked around, but it was with my shotgun. Like right now, I ain't got Pearl on me. If them boogers wanted me, they could have already had me a long time ago. If them coyotes come down here, I'll stick this size 11 crock in the tail and give their inside some style. You know what I'm saying? LBL Pan is 5 hours from here. Over 5 hours, actually. That's on the Kentucky's a long state, and that's on the other side. Which, I mean, don't get me wrong. Shoot, if y'all want to go to LBL, I'm down with that too. Because I'm just throwing oh heck, the gorge out there because, I don't know, there's reports, stuff, but I can go there anytime. And I will be going there. I'm going to take like maybe a 3 or 4 day weekend to go there and hockey it. I like to take a weekend and camp down at the Carter Caves, but again, I can go there anytime too. And there's quite a few reports from these areas. Well, this chat is flying. What is going on here?
I think it is the younger ones, the juvenile ones that come around and mess around. But there's been the big ones here before too. I mean, right here next to the house. I think they've smacked the house before because just how loud the hitting of the house was. I don't think it was the little feller. But yeah, mostly the ones that I've got on my FLIR before have been smaller ones, and by small, anywhere from 3 to 6 foot tall, 6.5. And the one that was pecking on the window, it looked about, I guess he was close to 7 foot tall. I don't know why it is working. Now my mouse is going dead on me. Oh, when the young ones are around, believe me, the big ones are close too. You know, within hollering distance for sure. But generally, whenever do get activity here, it goes on for 3 or 4 days in a row, and then it'll just all go quiet. Then maybe every once in a while, that's the good activity. Like whenever you got a few of them here, and then every once in a while you'll get something here and there, just one maybe passing through or something like that. But I don't know. I think they stay in a certain radius. I used to think maybe a 25-mile radius was their territory, something like that around here. But I don't know how accurate that would be. I just kind of got that from going around and finding different places that they've been to around here. Like the ones out at the lake, I'm starting to think that that's a totally different group of them. Yeah, that's true, and like I said, it varies. Like at Snow White Bigfoots, I don't think they've got like a bigger area because simply because there's more food there. They've got a lot of cash crops like corn and soybeans and stuff like that. And I think that's why she has more activity at her place more often. To where here, like if they was to stay in one place, say my farm for instance, or any square mile of area, they'd have everything in that area eat off. But right now, the foods there's different types of seasons. There's different types of food. Right now, pawpaws are starting to come into season, and mushrooms and stuff like that that they can forage on. Here in a month or so, persimmons will be in season. I've actually found a couple persimmons that last time I went up, had the mouse put on the side by side. I found a couple persimmon trees that I didn't know were there, and something had broken the branches on a couple branches on the persimmon trees, and the persimmons on them branches were already ripened and tasting good. So I think it all depends on the resources in the area to how far they got to travel and stuff like that. But I just don't think that they could stay in one spot for too long without spooking all the game or eating everything up. And I mean, we don't know how much they have to eat or anything like that, what their metabolism is or anything like that. We just don't know. I mean, I found things that they eat on, and I would reckon that they would take advantage of whatever, be it a dumpster or somebody's garden or somebody's chickens. And that's why I put up all these cameras. And so far, I haven't had much problems with my flock. Couples went missing, but it ain't been too bad really. And I think it's because of the cameras I got up. They just how they know what a camera is, I have no idea. But it seems to deter them. They haven't pecked on my window since I've had the game camera up, and haven't hit the house since the game cameras and the security cameras went up. Coming up a tree after this stupid mouse. It had a blinking collar on. Why should be cutting no persimmon trees down? Persimmons are great, man. They taste delicious. Oh, absolutely. I think they eat deer. Not only do they eat deer, they actively, around here, I think they actively hunt them. I found tracks that you can tell this booger's been running, and also deer tracks, and then a big blind that they had built. And I think another booger was there, and either they took a rock and stunned the deer or killed it. But on the side of a tree, there was a bunch of blood and deer hair, and I've got all this recorded. And yeah, I think they hunt and eat deer. They brought several deer carcasses here with the neck snapped and the legs broke on them, stuff like that. I found rocks that have no reason being where they are, and they haven't been there very long. I think they use rocks to either stun or kill their prey. But yeah, I mean, I'd say deer is high on their diet, especially in the wintertime. But yeah, look, just type in my channel name and deer or kill box. They build kill boxes like a maze type obstacle course to either divert the deer's attention or to slow a deer down. And there's always a blind or something next to it. And I found bones in them, deer skulls, just all kinds of stuff. I've had deer brought here, several deer, probably over a dozen deer or deer parts brought here. And I think they do that for my dog, for treats for my dog. Nice feature. I found three more persimmon trees last weekend that I didn't know were here. I know where a bunch of big ones are, but I didn't know about these. Oh, they definitely watch. I mean, they've got, I don't know, I've got places around the house like where I'm sitting right now. There's a structure up there. I call them human observation posts. And they'll sit up there and watch me. There's actually two on the hillside beside of me and a couple out front. Persimmons bites. I'd be eating all the persimmons. Think about running some through a steel. Yeah, I think I think bears would too. But again, bears don't stay in one area, one general area. They'll roam around. Big cats. A lot of your predators do that, and they roam around like any good sized predator is going to, if it's just stayed in one area, it's going to starve itself out by eating everything. All the game would get skittish and move to a different area or whatever. The kill boxes, I mean, they'll bend over trees, break trees off, and make like a corral type deal to funnel deer into a certain area, usually toward a blind or whatever, and they'll either, like I said, I found the tracks where one had been chasing a deer, and then they took the deer out, smashed up against a tree. I found stacks of rocks around the blinds, like that they use for throwing at the deer to stun them or kill them or whatever. Yeah, I've smelled them a few times, and boogers are pretty smart in that I think they know about wind direction and their smell being carried too. Because if you smell one, you don't smell it for a long time until they get off into a different position. But and they all don't smell the same. I've smelled all kinds of different smells. Heck, one time I smelled lemons in, I think it was January or February. Lemons right here on this porch. Now, where that smell comes from, I mean, I don't know. I think it's the a little bush that grows here that smells like lemons. When you wear socks with your Crocs, it's fine. There's a little bush that grows around here, and Papa showed it to me because it gets little berries on them that turn red in the winter. Right now they're green. They might be starting to turn red now. But you can mash them up, and it smells just like lemons, and it's really good for keep the mosquitoes off of you. Hello, Nala. How you doing, hon? How's catfish getting along with these rocks? Yeah, well, you can wear socks with whatever, flip flops. Who cares what people think? It's a weak-minded person that cares what people thinks about them. I mean, I think Bigfoot's real. Okay, a lot of people don't. I don't care. I'll tell them that I think it's real, and I'll give them reasons why I think it's real. They've got Crocs with linings. Really? What color was it inside, Nala? I'm on the back porch now. There's actually, I think there's one of them bushes down there on the other side of the creek where the outhouse is. But like I said, I walked out here and it was a strong smell. And what I think happened was that I guess they're edible, and a booger had been eating them, and maybe that's what I was smelling. But I've smelled them anywhere from poo poo smell to like a just a rancid rotten meat type smell. I mean, just different smells. I think they're hunting right now. I mean, I don't think there's any. I don't know. Sometimes you can kind of tell whenever something's watching you. Like if you've been sitting in a restaurant or whatever, and you feel someone staring at you, you got eyes on you. I mean, it's kind of like that. And I don't have that feeling right now. I think they're out hunting. The wall's doing great. I've got one more section to do on it, but I think I'm gonna get my firewood in before I put that one up. I built it to where I can put my firewood in regardless, but I'll just make it easier. It's about firewood cutting time. I hear you, Jay. Yeah, they haven't pecked on the window since the cameras went up. They haven't hit the house or pecked on the window. Now they'll still hit this one shed gets hit a lot, and the backside of the barn gets hit a lot. I'm thinking about redoing the outhouse because that was one of their favorite things is to smack the outhouse. I'm not sure why. My dad actually told me a story. I don't know if I've told this or not, but whenever they were kids, he told me this the other day, which I've heard it before, but I don't know if I've ever told it. But there used to be another house over where the well sits now, right beside this house where the well sits, and then the outhouse was right across the little driveway from it. Well, they didn't have indoor plumbing back then, so they would have to go to the outhouse, and in the evening, they would go do their business before it was bedtime. And it's a fancy three seater. Yeah, have him send some pictures. It's a fancy three seater outhouse, and they would go in teams. Well, one time they went to the outhouse and they could hear something moving around outside. And I think it was my uncle Lonnie peeked out the door, and there were two glowing red eyes staring at him from across the creek down here. And so they ran to the house. So now I'm kind of wondering what that was, because them boogers, they love to hit that outhouse whenever I'd sit on this back porch. That was one of the favorite things to do. Oh, they wasn't touching it; they was smacking it. I mean, it sounded like a shotgun going off whenever they'd hit it, and they just did it to. I think they do it to get a reaction out of me. Back then, I didn't have a computer or anything, and I would sit out here and read books and play with my dogs or whatever after work, and they would just, I mean, just bam, smack the crap out of it. And they'd get a reaction. I'd get up and have a spotlight looking down there, and my shotgun laying here on the porch. I mean, I didn't know what was going on. Oh, glands near the wrist. How would someone know that, Valerie? I mean, I'm sure they've got oil glands just like we do, but they don't have showers and soap and stuff. Like, you don't take a shower for a few days. See how oily you get. You know what I'm saying? My neighbors, I don't think any of my closest neighbors, which my closest neighbors are 2 miles away on either side. And then one of them's an old feller, and then the other ones, I think they're renting that one house out now. They don't have chickens, I know for sure. Now there's cows that run around here. Three-seater outhouse. It's pretty fancy. I was thinking on a cold winter morning, you go out there and sit cheek to cheek to cheek and kind of keep warm while you do your business. Pretty fancy. Yeah, but I don't know if, I mean, in my opinion, and I have no way to base this on, to say this is fact, but in my opinion, their skin is kind of like ours and it gets oily and greasy just from, that's what skin does. They don't, take baths regular or anything like that. I've yet to find evidence of boogers using using a bathtub or soap or anything like that. So they would have to stay pretty oily, even if they got in creeks and stuff. I mean, oil repels water. So I'd say unless you're scrubbing it down with a cloth or something like that, they're going to stay pretty greasy. So that's going to, be on their hands because I'm sure they scratch their face or their arms or wherever and get that oil all over them. And I found oily tracks here, or not tracks, prints here. Like even when people's come here, like Pam had woolly prints on her camper. Jay had them on his. I found them on my truck before. Heck, them ones are probably still on my truck. I haven't washed it since then. Ugh. 25, 30 mile radius. I don't know. That big of a radius, there's probably at least 50 different houses, I would think. Yeah, but would they use yellow root to take a bath with? I mean, maybe. I don't know. Maybe the lemons. They take a French bath with the perfume. They went a thump. Man, I like Janice Carter Coy and her stories and all that. There's just I believe a lot of it, but some of it, man, I don't know. I have a hard time with. Maybe they do take a bath, but I'd have to see some evidence of that before I would say they did. Yeah, it doesn't freeze, and it's good for to keep you dry. The water would run off of them. I heard one guy theorize about how like bikers were cowboys would have the oh heck, what are they called on their jackets? They would have the tassels. That might not be the right word for it, but the little strings that hang off their leather jackets. Is it tassels? But anyway, that would help them shed water, and why not? I mean, that's a good theory. But I would say it helps protect them. Fringe, yeah, good, good. I'm glad everybody's smarter than me. Tassel, what the heck's a tassel? Ain't that what you get on your graduation hat? Oh, I understand, Jay. I mean, and I'm not saying that. I'm not really saying that they don't or that they do or anything like that. I don't know. I don't know. I guess it wouldn't really even surprise me if they did, but I've never seen any sign of it. So, and I've smelled some awful stinky boogers. It's possible, Valerie. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Does any other critter have oil glands on the wrist? Like a deer's got it on its haunches. What the heck was that? Was that a growl? Y'all hear that? Oh, I'd say they groom each other, stuff like that. I can definitely see that happening. I seen one video, and who knows, but they had found a bunch of hair, and man, it's been a long time since I've seen this video, but they found a bunch of hair that looked like it had been cut, and they found a piece of glass around it. So maybe that was the Bigfoot barber shop. Who knows? I don't know if they shed or what, or if their hair constantly grows, and maybe they do somehow trim it or shed it, or who knows. Be interesting stuff to know. I mean, there's so many questions. The clan, yeah, they've been here way longer than white folks has been here. Europeans have been here. They was probably here before the Native Americans arrived here. No, no super chat. I don't like watching ads. And to have super chat, you got to monetize your channel, which I did at one point. But I don't like watching ads, so I'm sure nobody else does either. And I couldn't use my ad block, so I done away with it. Plus, I don't like YouTube's politics, and YouTube keeps 30% of any super chats. You're much better off if you wanted to donate something to someone. You're much better off doing it through PayPal or something like that, because YouTube keeps 30%. And again, I don't like YouTube's politics, and I don't like how they're censoring folks. I think everybody should have the right to say whatever they feel, even if you don't agree with it. They have that right to say it. You just don't have to watch it. You know what I'm saying? YouTube does suck. I mean, it's getting worse. So I just totally quit monetization or whatever on YouTube, which it wasn't a whole lot anyway, and they're just greedy with it, and they're not running ads on my mess. Another thing I don't get about YouTube is you can type in something to search for it. Now, back in the day, you could type in something and go to a video you'd actually want to watch, but now you type it in and it goes to some kind of mainstream news or some, one of the bigger channels that they support. I don't like that either. I don't like the agenda at all YouTube's putting out there, and I wish there was a alternative that a lot of people you could get out mass communications with. I've never seen a wild hog here ever. Why would you need a blind? I don't know. Blinds are pretty handy. It cuts the air and keeps you hidden. They're pretty handy. I like my blinds with a heater in them. I've seen one wolf here whilst I was sitting in my hunting blind hunting deer. I also seen a lynx. Either that or a great big old bobcat. There's cougar, bear. There's all kinds of different critters here. We just heard coyotes, so yeah. I hope I have a new battery for my mouse. I've never heard of D-Live. No, they ain't gonna tell you wolves are here. They ain't gonna tell you that the cats are here. The DNR just wants to take your money and pretend like they're doing something with it. Then they lock up the put gates across the roads at the wildlife management areas so the public can't get back in there. Pretty dirty trick. I was wanting to camp at the lake and they put their gate up. Yes, that's my laptop. That's the new fan in the laptop, actually. Yeah, I found a couple big tracks, but I've put my eyes on a wolf before here. It was as big as a German Shepherd, and brown and kind of. It didn't have the markings of a German Shepherd, but it had that same kind of brownish color to it. And it was chasing a big old buck deer. It was a big old wolf. Kind of surprised me. Bailey, I'll check it out. Hey, Bailey, come down here and talk to us. Yeah, silly. Bloody government.
do one more call. She needs to get a bath. I think I'm gonna bathe her this weekend. The fleas have boomed here. I need to probably time for her medicine too. Watch your ears. Yeah, it's getting colder. This time of the year, I don't know, the fleas just get horrible. No matter what I do. Plus, she's getting her winter coat, and that makes her itchy too. Bailey, you gonna come down and say hi? Hey, you gonna come down and say hi? Come on, lazy. Basically, I do calls now just to let them know I'm out here and listening or whatever. Because they stopped responding a long time ago to, doing a vocalization after I would do one or whatever. Same thing with Knox. They stopped doing that. They know it's me, basically. You can fool a booger sometimes once, but after that, that's about it. I just like to keep in practice so if I go to a different area, I can use them. And it's kind of like saying howdy now. Yeah, I haven't heard any rocks lately either. But I think, I don't know. It's been so hot. I mean, could you imagine being, let me just zoom out. Can you imagine being covered in a fur coat and it's so hot? Plus, right now it's really, really dry. So I assume that they would have to stay near some running water sources. And there's all kinds of spring heads and stuff around here. Back in these caves and rock cliffs, and it's actually cooler back in there too. So I figured they're probably staying around places like that. But it's about that time of the year whenever it cools down, and it's happened, every year since I've known they was here. Started getting activity and figured out what the heck was going on. But generally in the fall and the spring, for whatever reasons, I think it's just because it's, in the spring, I think they're excited because of all the new foods and hey, we get off this meat diet and happy times. In the fall, it could be because it's not going to be so hot anymore and there's nuts everywhere and, uh, stuff like that. Who knows? Maybe they've got a breeding season in one of those seasons. But it seems to get more activity in the spring and the fall. Yeah, I need to open my windows up. I've got an old air conditioning window unit I'm going to take out after this weekend. After this, hopefully this will be the last spell of hot weather.
I like to see a nice long fall and then a horribly freezing cold winter is what I like to see. And then a nice long spring and a very short summer. Yeah, right. That's what I'd be doing. I mean, there's all kinds of cattle ponds and there's water everywhere here for them. So I figure water's not that big of a deal. And it rained the other day, but it wasn't enough to even fill the creeks. But a lot of these creeks, like whenever I went to Carter Caves, a lot of the main creeks they've still got water in them. And I've seen this creek here totally bone dry before, but it's down to a trickle now. I know y'all can't see it, but it's pretty dry here, which is normal in the fall. Usually it'll stay like that till around November. Then deer season comes in and it'll rain all the time, so I can hunt in the rain. Oh, that'd be yeah, a long freezing winter. Kill these bugs off. I'm tired of these bugs. We had so much rain this year. I don't know how we could even have a drought unless it don't rain for the next 2 months. I mean, it's just. I know last year Kentucky set a record for rain. It's probably on track to set another one this year because it rained so much. And then the past couple of weeks, it's just quit raining. We had one rain. Was it yesterday or day before yesterday? Monday, I think. And it's a decent rain, but it wasn't enough to do anything. Oh, I'll be complaining about the cold come January, but still, yeah, right now I hope it's a nice long cold winter. I mean, the bugs are just mosquitoes are terrible this year. And little turkey mites, I hate them. That's the worst invention ever. It's a turkey mite. Little suckers, you can't see them, then they'll bite you and run to another area and bite you again, and they just freeze out. And the ticks, no boogers. The boogers are lost again. Guys, I guess I'm gonna go get me a shower. I'll probably come back out here and see it because it feels so nice. I'm thinking about playing hooky from work tomorrow too, because after tomorrow it's supposed to get back hot again. I'm really thinking about. I got over 2 weeks. I got to burn still yet for this year. But thank y'all for joining me. Everybody have a good night. Be good to each other, and God bless.